It's a damn shame James Woody is missing this episode because it's about Joe Alt. And the Jets hosted him for a visit. There was a wild take or rant or threat by a legendary radio host. We'll get into all of that. And my father joins us. Let's roll.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Good morning, everybody. What's poppin'? Paul Lesnan Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video program, also available wherever you get your podcast, if you prefer in that form, shortly after the show is over. Happy WrestleMania weekend, baby. A multi-day event. I'm looking forward to it. I will be going over to my sister's house, checking out her new dig. She bought a home. Going to check that out. She'll host us for Mania, so my location tomorrow for Boy Green Daily will be in a new locale. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. Speaking of family, La Familia, Ohana, the key ingredient to anyone's life. Let's try to find out more about my old life and everything else and how I was built and all that construction stuff. We'll see what stories to tell. Plus, also Joe Alt. And my dad is a diehard Notre Dame fan, so I'm sure he'll be pleased to discuss this morning. Let's bring him in. My father, Hop on Pop every Saturday. Paul Lesnan Jr., Paul Lesnan Sr., together, reunited. It's beautiful. What's up, father?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That very fitting for WrestleMania weekend. Very nice. I've not caught the Hall of Fame. Apparently, with how busy the WrestleMania weekend is now, and that's multiple days and everything. The Hall of Fame is now on Friday night, so I've not seen that yet. But I'll have to catch up on all that at some point today.
Yeah, I don't think Vince McMahon has seen it either.
Ooh, hey now. Ooh, touchy. Well,
hey, whoa.
Yeah, perhaps the wrong word choice there.
Yes.
Nonetheless, I will give a quick shout out to Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, whichever you prefer, the Cerebral Assassin, the King of Kings. He's done a wonderful job with the creative. So shout out to Triple H. It's been some compelling storytelling that's been happening over the last couple of months. So shout out to the game. Yeah.
Very nice. And yes, let's. Although we will keep abreast of the Vince McMahon situation. Yes, at a certain distance, that's
probably for the best. That's probably for the best. So I guess there's no other transition than to this. I will say that the Jets hosted Joe Alt, the Notre Dame offensive lineman, for a visit this week. I do have a full column in the YouTube description if you guys would like to follow along. There's a lot of nuggets that we'll be unveiling today about this topic. But before we get into any of that, Father, we got to go to some production value. We got to go to a video clip because I'm sure, if I had to guess, you're a fan of Joe Alt and a fan potentially of the Jets selecting him, as are a lot of fans in our fan base. But I don't think anyone quite took it as far as Mike Francesa, the legend, on his podcast. He mentioned that if the Jets don't take Joe Alt and he's on the board, they may face dire consequences. Let's roll the footage.
He's probably going to be there for the Jets. If the Jets get the good fortune of Alt being there at 10, if they don't take him, they should be shot. And if Alt's there, pop the champagne corks, because that will be a home run. That will be a guy who will be a 10-year starter, maybe a 14-year starter, a multiple-time All-Pro. He is a can't-miss player on the offensive line. Can't miss. Right pedigree, right everything. A 6'7" tackle. Like I said, it's 50-50 he's there.
Should be shocked, Joe Douglas. So apparently, if he passes none other than Joe Alt, again, I think it's a 50-50, call it whatever you want, whether or not Joe Alt's there. I will include this clip, or this quote, rather. This is from my story. Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic recently kind of ranked the players that the Jets are thinking about, their targets, and kind of like the likelihood that they end up being a Jet. And according to Zach Rosenblatt, Joe Alt is the fourth most likely player the Jets will select in the first round if he's available. And here is his little blurb about it. If 7 of the first 9 picks are wide receivers and quarterbacks, a real possibility, Alt could fall to 10. That's especially true since Alt isn't considered the unanimous number 1 tackle around the league. Some teams view Talise Fuaga and Olu Fashanu in that light too. The 6'7" Alt would be difficult for Douglas to pass on Joe Douglas unless he used the pick as an opportunity to trade back. So, wow, according to that's so a lot of news there. First off, that he'd be likely that the Jets picked him if he was on the board, and he thinks there's a chance that he's on the board, which is compelling. A lot of people thought when the Jets had the 10th overall pick, they were completely out of range for this guy. And then to hear that some teams in the league have Talise Fuaga and Olu Fashanu potentially above Alt or in that category. Wow, that's fascinating to me. Maybe we just, paralysis by analysis. You're just looking at players who are so good for so long, after we put them on such a pedestal, the last thing remaining is tearing them down, perhaps. But wow. So, Father, a couple of thoughts there. First off, do you believe he's the unquestioned OT1 in this class, or are some of these other guys, Fuaga, there's Mims, there's people that like Guyton, there's all kinds of people that are in there. Is it Alt number 1, no question, or is he in a pool with a lot of other guys?
Yeah, it's Alt number 1, no question. The only question is the sanity of somebody that says something different. He has played consistently. We've gone through his stats before.
Sure. Yeah.
He's allowed like 3 sacks in 3 years, and that was his first hybrid year where he actually started off as a tight end, right? And he has played the competition which is incomparable to the other 2 players, right? The level of competition year in, year out, game in, game out that Joe Alt has faced at Notre Dame as compared to some of these other ham and eggers. So, yes, he is clearly the number 1. And right, the first 6 players on the board, off the board, are going to be wide receivers and quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I believe that there is an opportunity there for the Jets. To me, this is what I told the Jets not to do. So what I told the Jets not to do is don't, draft a player, on your wish list. This would be the exception to that, right? We don't need Joe Alt. We need him, just to be clear. But this is the jackpot, right? If he's on the board. If he's not on the board, then I would have a strategy, which we can go through later, that I would trade back and still get who I want, add some backup opportunities there. So, no, Joe Alt, if he's there, slam dunk, need to go get him. And, again, this would be the unusual opportunity that it's not something they need to start off the 2024 season, but this would be someone clearly too good to pass up.
Yeah, and Rudy will appreciate this. Avatal using his quote here, praise to be Alt, and he does his whole, I can't do it quite justice, but Woody's doing that wherever he's watching, that's for sure. Nick jumping in, Control Alt Delete. Okay, we're getting them all in there for Joe Alt, which is very nice. Yeah, I think to your point, there are 2, as I see it, the top 10 as it is. So again, 9 picks have to happen before we get to the Jets. I think there are 2 key pivot points where Alt could go. It is 5 to the Chargers, although with the Chargers, he would have to, as I say, learn Guatemalan. He'd have to learn to play right tackle because they have Rashawn Slater, one of the best left tackles in football. So if they took him there, he'd have to flip. So maybe that's a unique position where the Chargers kind of shock the draft and he's not the first offensive tackle off the board. Maybe they go like a J.C. Latham, there's a pure right tackle just for their specific scenarios. So they don't force Alt to play a position perhaps he's uncomfortable with, or they just take the best tackle and all and say, yeah, you'll figure it out on the right side. So 5 is a potential pivot point for the Chargers. And the one that seems super obvious is the Tennessee Titans at 7, who seem to have a gaping hole at left tackle. Alt's on the board, bing, boom, bam. It seems like he would be the pick there. So those seem to be the 2 pivot points. And to your point, you go through the first couple of picks, it looks like it could be 4 quarterbacks in a row with the Cardinals straight at 4. And then, like I said, you have 5. And then the Giants are going to be looking at one of those receivers. Hell, the Chargers could be looking at one of those receivers. I ask you this, Pop. So, okay, I think we're all in agreement. Alt's on the board. Okay, let's run that freaking pickup, baby. It would be premium in protection insurance for Aaron Rodgers. He'd learn from one of the greatest left tackles of all time in Tyron Smith, because there'd be no starting position immediately, so some fans may complain about that. But the good news is you have premium insurance. If Tyron Smith was to go down, you could insert in Joe Alt. If Morgan Moses was to go down, you could flip around the board and somehow probably get Alt on the field, maybe even if it is at right tackle. And then, of course, if Tyron Smith only is here for 1 year, then he's here for Joe Alt's here for the next decade as a starting blindside protector for Rodgers or whoever the heck is going to be playing quarterback. So obviously, if he's there, I think a lot of us agree we'd take him. Would you be willing to move up in this weird year where, let's say, he's there at 7, and the Titans, of course, would have to be willing to move down? So that's a scenario. Or Giants at 6, 7. Is that a place where you would trade up for Alt, even though it's something we don't necessarily need, but it's a unique thing where a really good player slipping way further down the board because of a unique class of quarterback runs and wide receiver runs and things of that nature? Would you be interested in exploring what it would cost to move up?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It is, I'd love for him to suit up for the Jets. But it's not something I would be willing to use our pick for him, but no other draft capital for him. And I think it's not like we just laid out. You just laid out. It's unlikely he's going to be there, but I definitely would not expend any more draft capital.
And why do you believe that is? Is that because you don't believe in the player enough, or the Jets just don't have the proper assets where it'd be perhaps basically asset allocation questions?
Yeah, it's really the draft capital, the holes the Jets need to fill. I wouldn't give that up. Now, if somebody was willing to take something in 2025 or 2026, I'm worried about mortgaging the future. Somebody's willing to do something like that. It didn't cost that much, maybe. But generally speaking, I take him at 10 or I go to plan B.
Okay. Also, we're getting random questions in here, so I'll try to pop these in when they happen. Mitch asked me, Paul Jr., you said you have a fiance. You're marrying up like your father did. Again, the plan was to marry, and a thing called the world pandemic happened, and I went on the back burner, and then I have a child. So we'll see whenever that happens. No idea. When I know, the only reason I know this, Father, is because in our kitchen, I believe it was the Oswego home, I open up the first door. That's a shoe room. I open up the second door and I look to the right. There is a picture frame hanging up that I believe was made by your mother. And it was talking about you and mom getting married. I believe that was 1993. Is that correct?
Yeah, January 20th, 1993. By the way, I don't think you got what Mitch was saying there.
What's he saying?
Yeah, so what he's saying is, are you, marrying out of your league?
Oh, yeah. Out kicking my coverage? Oh, I see. Wow. So, wow. Okay. Maybe Mitch has seen my mom, I guess. That's weird. All right.
Yeah, your mom, just for the record, and we'll keep it PG. Your mom is a MILF. So
gross. That's not PG. I don't think maybe you and WWE have the same problems with rating your categories for shows. That would not be PG, but thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right. Let's keep going here. On the comments. Also, I will mention, obviously, the Jets hosted Joe Alt for a visit this week. That was one of their top 30 visits. Now, for the rules are kind of skirted if it's technically a local prospect. So Rutgers, I don't know if Penn State counts because they hosted Chop Robinson as well. So I don't know the exact distance for local, because local you can have as many as you want, but outside of your local range, you can only have 30 of the national prospects. So guys like Joe Alt or They had Roma Dunzes on the other side of the country out of Washington and things of that nature. So they did host Joe Alt for a visit. Okay. What the? Peter Campisi says, last night on NFL Total Access, Brian Baldinger picked the Jets to finish third in the AFC. Oh, third in the AFC. I read that first as third in the AFC East. I'm like, what in God's green earth? Oh, yeah. I was about to say, Brian Baldinger's been the former offensive lineman. He still got the fingers that go sideways. That still kind of creeps me out. Like, he never fixed his pinkies. They're both, when he holds his hands up, his fingers are all jacked up. But, hey, we love the guy. We love Baldy. But yeah, I was about to say he's been singing the sweet praise of the Jets all offseason. Third in the AFC, buy or sell there, Pop?
Third in the AFC, no. But Chris Canty, however, is singing a different tune.
Yeah, he has me blocked on Twitter, so I don't see what Chris Canty says. He said something foolish a year or two ago, and I said, that seems kind of foolish, and an immediate block from Chris Canty. He did not want to talk with me about his take. So yeah, Chris Canty's an idiot.
Yeah, but just so you know, like Michael Strahan still has a finger thing too, by the way.
Yeah, is his as bad as Baldy's though?
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Who's
You almost
the other
never
one?
see it.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. I think I'd have to Google, I guess, to double check and remind myself, because normally the only time I'm seeing Strahan is our NFL Fox Sundays, which is when I'm seeing him. But yeah, there's someone else who's also like a former pro who's in the league who's got a bunch of messed up fingers. He's on one of the post shows. I got to remember who the hell that is. But
yeah, I mean Michael Strahan, right? Yeah, I could back the U-Haul in the driveway through his front teeth. So apparently he's not overly concerned with his appearance.
That he is not. And I know a lot of people have been complaining the entire time that I haven't said enough offensive line at 10, but finally we get offensive line, and then now we get some split people on everything. Oh, yeah, did you hear that? I saw this story. Someone shared it. I didn't know the specific details. Joe Alt is Rudy's nephew?
I did not know that.
Okay, let me see. I'm trying to think of who the person that tweeted this out, because I saw the picture. Oh my goodness. Let me just see if I can find it on a quick Twitter search, because it was a cool little it was a story that someone shared, and I saw him like in the Rudy jacket and they were saying it. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly, folks, so maybe we won't be able to bring it up on the show. Let me go Joe Alt Rudy, maybe it'll come up. But I heard something about this. Yeah, I can't find it. Yeah, but there is some reporter out there who said he tweeted out a picture of him and Rudy, and they were all hanging out. But yeah, I knew there was something to that. So thanks for that, Sluggo. I can't remember the exact details of that, but I tried to give that a quick Twitter search to find the picture, but I could not find that. So that's, yeah. Alex says if Tennessee falls in love with Neighbors, Jets have a chance with all. Yeah, if Neighbors is on the board. Now, Tennessee already went with Calvin Ridley. They used a first rounder on Traylon Burks. They still have DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know. It seems unlikely that they go Neighbors unless they move Burks, I guess, maybe. And you would think that they have, of course, Bill Callahan, the greatest offensive line coach in NFL history, working with his son, Brian, who's the new head coach of the Titans. Normally what they say is he works better with less, not better with less. Like, he can do really well with less. So that should give a team an advantage to take offensive linemen later, because he could just develop the heck out of him because he's so good. But again, I hope you're right, Alex. I hope they don't take Joe Alt. It seems almost like a foregone conclusion that Tennessee is taking him there. Didn't Bill Callahan spend some time with the Cowboys too there, Pop?
At some point, right? He's pretty much, he's like a used dish rag. He's pretty much been all over the place.
Yeah, he's been around a little bit there. Yeah, I'm seeing all of these different people for the Joe Alt as to who we pick. Again, if Joe Alt's on the board, I told you I have the whatever the word is. I have my big board, my top 5 of and we'll see how it changes on draft day. Paul, who are the 5 players or 3 players or whatever you'd want for the Jets to pick at 10? And Joe Alt is on my list. It is the 3 receivers. It's Joe Alt. It's Brock Bowers. And boy, if Joe Alt's there, I think I would take him over anyone but Marvin Harrison Jr. And he's not going to be there either. But it would be Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, the 2 receivers, then Bowers. That would be my stacking of them. So again, I am as high can be. So yeah, baby, let's get Joe Alt here. That'd be spectacular. That'd be a nice way for that as well. Dad, a lot of people were asking, are you partaking in any of the WrestleMania action this evening or this weekend?
Yeah, I might watch some. We're in the process of moving, and got a lot of things to do associated with the move. So I might watch some, but otherwise I might catch a replay. But yeah.
Let me ask you about Tyron Smith real quick. That's just another aside I definitely want to get to here on this topic is, and I'll tweet out the clip a little bit after the show. Robert Saleh did a one-on-one interview late this week with one of the Jets reporters, Eric Allen. And in it, Robert Saleh revealed that they're working with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are basically trade secrets, I guess, for lack of a better word. They're giving the Jets the full plan they used for Tyron Smith this past season, and what apparently resulted in the best, the practice schedules and nutrition and everything else. They have no problem. They're releasing all that information to the Jets, and Tyron Smith is talking to the Jets, and everyone's doing everything to give them the full plan. Is this something that would be something another team's like go kick rocks, or they love the player so much, of course we want to help you do whatever you can for that? What's the right mentality? Because I hesitate. I was like, wow, I'm surprised the Cowboys did that. Not because it's a Cowboys or any team, but why would you help another NFL team to this level? But ultimately it's good news for Tyron, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there's a lot to it. I mean, I think that the Cowboys have a lot of love and respect for Tyron Smith, right? He'll go one day into Canton as a Cowboy. Mm-hmm. But the fact is they're not going to play the Jets. If they play him, it'll be in the Super Bowl. So they want the best for the Jets, for Tyron Smith, right? They're not going to play him for 3 more years. Tyron likely will not be playing 3 years from now, for three full seasons from now. There may be some weird scheduling thing, those other 4 games based on where you fall out, so they might play him. They won't play him as normal schedule for another 3 years. So why not wish the best for him? So I think that's a sign of respect from the Cowboys to Tyron Smith, and the Jets get the benefit of it. It's not the Cowboys doing the Jets a solid. I think it's them doing Tyron Smith a solid.
Correct. Yeah, and that's how I see it. And it's, again, I just think it's really cool because I'm sure Tyron would be able to remember a lot of the information, but for Dallas just to straight up say, no, here's everything that worked. Here's the practice schedule. Here's how we want it to work. And the Jets have their own thoughts and plans, as Sal was talking about. So it should be pretty interesting. So Joe Alt, we'll see. My dad says if he's on the board, takes him. If he's on the board, of course I take him, but I'd be willing to move up. I'd be willing. It depends on the cost, and the teams have to be interested. Again, if he falls to Tennessee at 7, will Tennessee say, sure, yeah, you can have all, and we won't? What price would you have to pay for them to ignore a position of need? So that can get dangerous quick. But boy, if he falls within a certain range, like 4th overall, that's too high. But you start getting to 7, 8. We're talking about 2 or 3 picks. How much could that possibly cost?
Callahan may have a different breakdown of these offensive tackles,
right?
Going from 7 to 10, getting something next year. Mm-hmm. The cost of a 7 to 10 doesn't seem like it would be astronomical.
Right.
I know they have the breakdown and all that other, but there may be something there based on his talent evaluation, because really that's his strength, but I still don't expect it.
Yeah, I don't either. So hopefully we'll all be surprised on game day. There's no question about it. So you guys can read the rest of that Joe Alt story again. That's in my YouTube description down below, and has all the details on Zach Rosenblatt's likelihood, Joe Alt, some other informational bits. He is the number 8 overall player on Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Media Group's big board, and the top-ranked offensive lineman. Oh, yes, also, I'm so sorry, guys, I didn't mention that. I'll throw that up on the screen real quick. We now know the Jets have been teasing it on social media for God knows what reason. I don't know why they've been going to this level, but it is official. We now know when the Jets' new brand and uniforms are dropping. Here it is on Twitter. Shout out to sportslogos.net. April 15th, so that is in 9 days, is the date that the Jets unveiled their new green home and black alternate uniforms. Also, we already kind of knew this, but this will be obviously the new primary logo for the New York Jets, according to sportslogos.net. Again, we had kind of an idea because of the draft hat leak, but this will be the new primary logo. So now we know April 15th, and that's when all the merch will be available. Everyone else in the NFL kingdom can buy their jerseys and everything, or hats, draft hats, and all that jazz right now. But the Jets have to wait. So April 15th, folks, that is in 9 days. I want to make sure I see people talking about it. I love that logo. It's right over my right shoulder here. The Sack Exchange helmet. Beautiful. Can't wait. Excellent. All right, so let's get to it, Dad. Let's get to old story time here with Pop. What is your flavor this week? All the people are waiting for, this moment on a week-to-week basis.
Right. So unlike the Alt family, the Esden family, right, our attribute that if you linked it to us that has been inbred and instilled in us is the undying perseverance and work ethic, right? You may be able to run faster than us, but we will, in the end, win because we just won't give up.
Wow.
So this is a story about Boy Green, about just for the record, when he started, when he was younger, he picked up the basketball. Not very good. Not very good. We had a basketball half court in the backyard. And he was he couldn't shoot the ball very well. And so I said, well, what do we have? Well, we have this hard work ethic. And the other thing that Esdens like to do is motivate by humiliation.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an excellent tool. And so we didn't play horse in the Esden backyard.
Sure.
What did we play? Boy Green, what the game we call? What did we play?
I believe it was Pig.
Pig. Yes, we played Pig. PIG. And we played Pig really not because it was shorter, but because at the end of the game, if you lost the game of Pig, and again, PJ has two brothers and a sister, and we'd all take turns shooting in South Carolina at the basket. And for quite a while, PJ was the reigning reverse champion of Pig. And if you could tell the people here what you would have to do when you lost the game, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go to a video clip. This is a Geico commercial you guys may remember from a couple of years ago. I guess we'll just roll this footage.
Yeah? You're home. Oh, cool. Thanks, Mrs. A.
There you go. A lot of wee. That's the action. Is that if you lost, you had to kind of go into an embarrassing fashion and oink, oink, oink all around the court if you lost. So again, you were motivated. Some people are motivated by pain. If this happens, you're going to get smacked. Oh, geez. You're going to get motivated by this or that. The excruciating humiliation in front of your family of going around like a little piggy, a little piggly wiggly action happening, oink oink. That would be your pain. That would be the result.
You'd have to run around the court squealing and saying, "I'm a little piggy. I'm a little piggy."
That was it. Yeah, that was the punishment.
Yes. And so eventually, Boy Green got better. And, accounts may differ, but he did score the point total that resulted in this.
Okay. Yep. Let's put this up, folks. Here's another image. Yeah, there it is. And for our audio-only listeners, the picture that's on the screen, that is a young Boy Green with what appears to be a Jack Sparrow mustache goatee combo, pointing to a mock Lombardi trophy. That's me in my Oswego YMCA days. That is me holding a championship basketball trophy. And I will make this very clear, okay, that in this championship game, I scored 2 points. We won by 1, a buzzer beater at the end. Now, you can do whatever math you'd like. I won us the game. That's basically it. This might as well be an MVP trophy in my hand. So just want to make that as crystal clear as possible. 2 points. Win by 1. That's math, baby.
Leave that picture up there just for a second. I'd like to.
Oh, sure.
All the people that do have the video, you can see that PJ hit the gym quite a bit, and he's rocking out the. I think those are the 10-inch pythons there. So
okay, I don't think we got to measure them, but that's a gun show, baby. That's it. Look at that. Look at that. It's good speed. Yeah, good build. Very nice. This is a young boy green right here. Yeah.
There you go. So from squealing like a piggy to on the podium, nice job. Humiliation does drive excellence.
Yeah. Do you take pride in that? Like, now that we've kind of gone through the story, the whole character arc that happened here in the Hollywood script, and then you told me this, I'm like, are you sure this is gonna, this kind of makes sense? Piggy, holding a basketball championship. Like, is this a story? Spielberg back there, and you apparently, yeah.
It's a proud moment. Proud moment. The whole thing. You can't just look at this picture, as impressive as your arms are. Sure, you really need the full Monty, if you will. And from pig to champion.
Yeah.
From pinwheel to the disturbing facial hair there. Yes.
I see. And, a lot of people say that, they have all kinds of words for WrestleMania, right? And they say it's something like what, the Clash of the Immortals or something. Boom. Look at this. Getting this championship, immortal. Okay. That I may kick the bucket, but look at that trophy. That trophy lasts forever, baby. This photo in the universe lasts forever. There you go. We were for this YMCA league, basically they broke up everybody. You drafted teams and put them all together. We were NBA teams. So we were the Phoenix Suns and we were the Clippers one year. And so playing for quote unquote NBA franchise for a YMCA basketball league. Very intense, very great. And shout out to Mr. O'Brien, my coach, the head coach. Very nice. So, and my O'Brien brother teammates, which is very nice. So yeah, we had a great group there, great championship group. And we had a kind of a crazy guy that ended up hitting the buzzer beater. But you know what? It's one of those teammates that if it's on the other side, you're like, oh boy, that guy's a freak. But if he's on your team, you're like, okay, nice. All right. Yeah, great teammate. But so that ended up working out. So thank you, unnamed teammate. I'll leave your name off. I don't want you to chase me with a baseball bat. So that'll be good. Thanks for shooting the shot, pal. Appreciate you.
Yeah, he could be that guy from Billy Madison that your name. You need to scratch your name off the list.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So that part kind of, he could be that guy. So I just want to make sure I don't anger anybody. But yes, so hopefully we're on the right side of history. You want to be on the right side of history there. So there you go. Very nice. Yeah. Wow, people say I look older in this picture. I don't know why. Like, I've got a burly beard now, like back then, and I don't think that was a shade thing. I think that's just kind of how it was coming in, to be honest. So I don't think that was a stylistic choice. I think that's again, the Jack Sparrow thing, which is the mustache where you have kind of like the goatee on the bottom. There was no side. I didn't have any mutton chops. Like, that is like, that appears to be, it's an old photo, but buzz cut, mustache, goatee, that's it.
Yeah, you're really giving it all you got there. Yeah, you were. This wasn't a choice. This was, this is how your hair matriculated at the time.
Yeah, this was God's choice, apparently. Right. This is, that was God's choice, and then the beard just kind of came in. So there you go. Yes. So I appreciate you guys. Look at that. Paul Jr. was shaving at 5. No, but again, I've told this story before. We lived in South Carolina for a big portion of my life in both Goose Creek and Somerville. And one of my childhood friends who lived down the block that I could run to his house, it was CJ was my friend, and his dad's name was Charles. And when we came to his house and I knocked on the door, he always said, "Get that caterpillar off your lip, boy," because I had a mustache in like 5th grade or something. Like, I don't know. Fisher came in early, so I should have probably been shaving, but I didn't. I just kind of let it happen. Yeah, that's true. There you go. Oh,
there you go. There's the chapter.
Yeah, wow. There you go. Wow, what a story. That is and what a happy ending this time, because most of your embarrassing stories are with death of animals or God knows what. So for this one to end in championship glory, immortality, there's just something special about that. Something
we'll have to get back to the roots of it next week.
So it's just kind of it's like storytelling, a Survivor episode. We're here. Oh, next week we're back here. All right, great. Well, Pop, appreciate the story time. Everyone enjoys gathering around the campfire, and all the other action here today with Joe Alt and the basketball story and everything else. So thanks as always for a Hop on Pop episode here. These are great. Again, every Saturday for whether you're watching or listening, we appreciate you. Thanks, Pop. Any final words?
Yeah, so we had to go a little shorter today. I've got to finish up some moving to do, but
Yes.
I think we'll get back to more taking callers next week, and definitely a more expanded embarrassment segment for sure. So
I'm sure the people appreciate that. By the way, to the 500 people that are watching right now, again on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe down below. That is the free way to contribute to the show. We're also over 20 members on the YouTube membership, which is the Boy Green Super Fan Club. Feel free to do that for a small fee every month. Help support the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Again, I'll be from my sister's house. We'll see whatever that camera looks like, but we already got the topic of choice, and maybe recap a little WrestleMania Day 1, Night 1. We'll be doing some of that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Enjoy WrestleMania. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.